Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture 3 of Solidworks. In today's video, we are going to solve our first question. But before starting the video, let's first revise the important concepts from the last video. Okay, so in the last video, we understood how we can use the face of any model as a plane for other model and also talked about extrude cut, which is basically used to remove the unwanted parts from our model. Understood about how we can make replicas in a linear pattern and circular pattern. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to use this to solve our first question. So let's move to our first question. Okay, so this is our question one. At first view, it might look little complicated to you, but if you approach this question step by step, breaking the whole model into different smaller parts, it is super easy. Now in this series, or any different tutorial videos, you will encounter the question in this format. You will see the question similar to this format. Well, this format is good, but there is one problem with this format. Even though all the dimensions are specified clearly, there are some dimensions that are given indirectly. For example, if you need to find the distance between this till here, it is not given. So you must calculate it from here 60 minus this distance minus this distance. So it is not that tedious task, but it is not given directly. There are multiple formats which are more efficient than this one. But in this video, we are going to see through this format. Now, since this is your question one, I'm going to break this figure into different sections and make it. But from the next questions, we are going to directly solve the question through this format. Okay, so let's start solving it. Okay, so here you can see I have divided the main model into three unique parts so that we can approach each section step by step. So let's begin with part one in SolidWorks. So here are the dimensions of our part one. As you can see, part one is nothing but basically a rectangle with a semicircle at the end and a circle carved out at this. So how can we make this part? So there can be many approaches we can follow. Like we can simply make a sketch like this and include it. So the resulting model will be this one, or you can simply make a sketch like this, extrude it, and then by using extrude cut, you can make a circle at this point. So you can use whatever you like. But for this video, I'm going with this approach as it is much simpler than the other one. So for making the sketch, first we need to select sketch and select the plane in which we are going to make. So in here I am going to select front plane. Okay. Now before making the sketch, I am going to make two center line just for my reference. And here, okay. Now coincide it with the origin. Okay. Now we can make our sketch. Okay. Now we can make our sketch. So we will start with rectangle. I will align the center of this rectangle with origin. Okay. Now here you can see the length of our rectangle is 60. So 60 and the breadth. See, the breadth is not given directly. Here the breadth is basically equal to the diameter of this semicircle and the radius of this semicircle is 20. So breadth will be ultimately 40. Now we have to make this semicircle. For that I will take this circle. Okay. Now I will align the center of the circle with the midpoint of this breadth coincide. Now the dimension of this circle is given, diameter is equal to 40. Okay, good. Now we have to make a smaller circle here. So for that, we can either make another circle or use offset entities. So in this case, I'm going to use offset entities. I will select this. Okay. Now here we want it inside, so I will choose reverse. Here you can see we have to find a distance between the outer circumference of the inner circle and outer circle. So the radius of the inner circle is 8 and the radius of the outer circle is 20. So 20 minus 8, 12. So this distance is 12. So I will select 12. So here you can see the preview of our inner circle. Okay, so this is correct. So okay. Now here our sketch is ready. So here I can either use stream entities to remove all the unwanted part, or or I can just go with this sketch. So here I will do okay. Now I have to give height to this 2D structure. So for that I will go feature extrude base. Okay. Now here I will show you one more feature of the extrude base. See, if I select this, you can see the extrude feature has only given height to this section of the sketch. Or if I select this part, so it will give height to this section, this section. So this feature of the extrude provide you with the choice to give height to only the specific part of your sketch. So to select it, I can just delete it from here, here, and here. Okay. So in this case, I want to give height to this section, this section, this section, except this circle in between. So I will leave it like this. Now here you can see the preview, and this is according to our given 3D sketch. Hence correct. Okay. So now here the model of our part 1 is complete. Okay. Now let's move further to part 2. Okay. So these are the dimension of part 2. Again, part 2 is nothing but a combination of rectangle, semicircle and a circle carved out from it. If you see in the main model, part 2 is basically positioned on the top of part 1. So basically we have to make this part 2 on the top face of the part 1, taking it as a plane. Alright. But my approach for this part 2 will be different from part 1. I'm basically going to make a cuboid first like this, and then carve out this section and this section out from my cuboid. So the resulting surface will be again similar to, so let's make. So now I will select sketch and select the face of this part 1 as plane for the part 2. Okay. So now I will make rectangle. So if you see from the top view, you will basically see two rectangles. We make the rectangle like this. So the corner of this rectangle must be coincide with the corner of this side. Okay. Now if you see from the top view, this will be the breadth of our rectangle and this will be the length of our rectangle. So the length will be 40 and breadth will be 12. Okay, so this is done. So now I will just go and extrude it, extrude base. Now the height, see, oh sorry, I forgot to mention the height. Just wait a second. Okay, so the height given is 40 mm. So I will take here 40 mm and that. So I basically made a cuboid on the surface of part 1. So now I have to extrude cut the unwanted. So I will select this and select extrude. Okay. Instead of explaining what I will do, I will just show you. Just try to understand what I am doing. I will make a circle Now the dimension of the circle will be 40 diameters, and the circle will be tangent to this side, and again it will be tangent to this side. Okay, now I have to make an offset entities, inner and okay. So my sketch is complete and I will just extrude it out. Okay, now here you can see, here it has randomly selected this part, but I do not want to select it. So you can go into select contours, select this sketch, delete it. So now this extrude cut will only be applicable to the part which you want to remove. So I will select this part, and this part, and here it has randomly selected 40. So I will go with it because it's not doing any problem. Okay. Now here you can see my required figure is created. So basically what I did, I carved this section and this section from my angle using extrude. So the resultant will be this figure. So as I told you, there can be multiple approaches. So you can try any another approach that you like. Now to make the other side, we can either make the whole thing again on this side of the surface or simply use mirror. So I will select mirror. So in mirror, you can see here it is asking mirror face and plane. So we have to select a plane about which we are going to mirror this. So you can go here. Now since part 1 is made in plane 1, you can select a top plane as a reference because it is just passing between the part 1. And now we have to select features that we want to mirror. So I will select this. Okay. Now here you can see the preview of the final model. So it is correct. So I will go. Okay. So now here you can see we have created duplicate of our part 2 using mirror. So basically you can make this part 2 again from the scratch, but by using mirror we have saved our lot of time. So basically this was what I wanted to tell you, that by using this so many features you can make things more quickly and efficiently. Okay. Now since our part 2 is ready, let's move to part 3. These are the dimension of part 3. So it is also basically same as part 1 and part 2, a rectangle with a semicircle and a circle carved out from the center. Now as you can see in the our main model, this part 3 is basically made on the face opposite to which part 2 is made. So we have to basically select the other face of the part 1 as a plane for part 3. Okay, so for part 3, I'm also going to use the same approach that I used for part 2. Like first, I will make a cuboid and then carve this section, and this section. So the resultant figure will be part 3. Okay, so let's make it. So first, I will select sketch and select this face as the plane for part 3. Okay. Okay, now so I will select a rectangle. Okay, now I will align this point to this point of the rectangle and this side to this side collinear. Okay, so now as you can see, the length of our rectangle is fixed by default as the length is basically equal to the breadth of part 1. So basically for the breadth of this rectangle, you can say it is given 12. If you see from the bottom view, this will act as the breadth. So it is 12. So it is 12. Okay, now I will just extrude this part. Okay. Now you can see the height. The height for this section is 48. So I will select 48. Now we have to carve out the part that we do not require. So we will use extrude curve and select this plane. Okay, so now we will make circle, and the diameter of the circle will be 40. Okay, now the circle must be tangent to this side, and again it should be tangent to this side. Okay, now we have to make one more circle using offset in reverse, and the distance will be 12, like part 1 and part 2. Now we have to, but we do not want to remove this part, so I will undo it from here and select this part, and send. Okay, done. So I have basically removed the unwanted part, and our part 3 is completed. So basically our model is ready, but we are missing one more thing. If you see here carefully in the model, here this part is forming a curve like structure. It is basically converting this sharp edge part of the model into smooth curves. So to do that, we use fillet. It basically convert the sharp corners of any model into smooth curved surfaces. I will select fillet. So we have to select the part that we want to do fillet. This part, this part, and here you can see it is also doing for this part. So you can see the preview at how it will look. But here the radius of the fillet is not given, so here I will going to take 2 mm. Okay, now so you can see here we have converted the sharp corners of our model into smooth curved surface. So it is basically completed. So if you want to give some color to the model, you can basically use color tool and apply any color. Here I am choosing green. Okay, or you can convert the material of the model. Like here you can choose gold. You can basically convert the material to gold or etc. Okay, now as we have completed our question 1, I want you to try this model on your own, and you can even use different approach. So that's all for today's video. In the next video, we will solve our question 2. Thank you for watching the video.